So you were out there doing like trade shows and like just showing people how stuff works with the headset on and like.
I was that guy.
Do you enjoy it? It's incredible what, the plug-in market has done for the recording industry. I mean, people used to have to mortgage their home to get something that can achieve a professional result.
I mean, we've been innovators of recording, instrument, guitar, anything that helps you make sound. We try to help you make that sound better. People think the word Atmos now, and they think, okay, thousands of dollars, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for an Atmos system. It's just not so anymore.
Hey everybody, John Dykstra, Size of Sound Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I've got a guest with me today, Derrick Floyd, IK Multimedia. You are the Senior Account Manager, is that correct?
That's a nice big title, but that sounds good.
Got a lot of words. Nice meeting you, friend.
You need a longer title, make you feel better.
You betcha. Well, thanks for coming in today, man. It's going to be a good time chatting with you. You guys got your fingers in a lot of pots.
We do.
Obviously is the new iLoud speaker system, the MTMs here. We just got it fired up today.
Yes.
And I think we upset a few of our neighbors. These speakers are clean, man, and clear and
precision,
and loud.
Yeah.
For the size. I mean, they're punching above their weight.
Oh yeah.
How long have these speakers been available?
They've been out for quite a few years. This is actually a revision 2. This is the MTM MK2. The original version came out quite a few years back, and this one's recent, maybe within the last year or so. So we really improved it, made it even better, made the linear phase response better, gave you more wattage. The calibration system's even better. There's so much better to the monitor itself. It just sounds amazing.
Yeah, and that was something that I noticed when I took it out of the box. I'm looking at the back of this speaker, and I'm thinking, man, there's a computer inside this thing here.
There is.
Obviously an acoustic company here, that's kind of our focus, but I have to imagine even in a room that's not treated, because of all that DSP that's built into this system, these got to perform pretty well for somebody that doesn't have their room treated yet. Is that part of the reason why all that DSP is in there? Yeah?
It's a great way to be able to have that encompassed in one device. So a lot of people would use an application to do their calibration to the room. We decided, let's make this calibration available to you right inside the monitor. Yeah. If you look at the back of the monitor itself, it has a button that says calibrate, push the button, it sends out the test wave, saves that information to the speaker for you so you don't have to do a bunch of fussing around. And we also have an application called ARC that actually changes and allows you to change the references or monitors to be other monitors. In other words, if you had them calibrated to a certain room, you can go into our ARC application and be able to change that to reference another set of monitors. Incredible. So lots going on with that.
Incredible. That's really cool. So IK Multimedia, I mean, there's a lot of software product in your line, right? I mean, I've noticed the amp modeling specifically is something that kind of jumps off the page at me because, for a long time, amp modeling was not so great, right? Go back to the pod days or the Behringer V amp and all that kind of stuff. And it was, kind of a toy, but that's just no longer the case. What do you think? How did the industry get to a point where that kind of technology can be viewed as being something that needs to be taken seriously?
Well, IK's been at the forefront of actual modeling technology for years with our product Amplitude. And we've been doing it for so long, all the other actual manufacturers of amplifiers have chosen us to brand their version of that product inside software, like Mesa Boogie or Fender or Orange. So when you look at a Fender that says, hey, we trust this company to make this product sound exactly like this product should, that speaks volumes. Yeah. A lot of times customers would say, I couldn't afford to buy that Fender or that Mesa, or now it becomes you want to be able to record that. Exactly. And you want to record that in your studio. Right. IK Multimedia presents the application that says, hey, I can put this on a plug-in inside my DAW, and I've got this right here in my studio without having to lug everything in and plug it in. So it became pretty important, especially on the studio side.
Yeah. And what's that process like? I mean, are we literally dragging a 70s blackface? I don't even...
You know what? I'm not going to give away the secrets of how they do that. They do it in Italy.
Okay.
Our home office is in Italy. So all those guys that super techie engineers, I won't even let you go there. These guys figured out how to make that happen.
I understand.
I'll
yeah,
leave
you
it
don't,
right there.
You don't want to give up the
I don't
recipe.
want to give up the secrets.
No, for sure, because there's people doing it right and there's people that aren't doing it right. You want to make sure you keep doing it right. What would you say is your favorite product that IK Multimedia's got out there?
That's a biggie. What's my favorite product? I would probably say the MTMs.
Okay.
Just because I use them daily. I love the way the calibration feels. I love the wattage I get out of them. They're 100 watts RMS right at the gate. So you've got a lot of power to get out of there.
Right.
The frequency response sounds amazing. They're so ultra flat. I can listen to any genre in them and it translates properly for me. Nice. And you can set them even on a desk or on stands, and we're going to talk about shortly. You can put them into an immersive setup where you can really hear everything clearly. So I love them.
Right. So what we've got in here is a 4-channel Atmos, and then so what is it, a 7.4?
7.1.4, yeah. 7.14, yeah.
Incredible. So have these speakers made their way into those like really high channel count rooms where there's like 60 speakers going on?
I don't think we've made it that far yet.
Okay.
I'd have to double check that.
The speaker would work in that.
It would work.
Yeah, for sure.
I know we're looking at the 9.16. Is that what the next one is?
I don't even, I was under the impression, I'm going to age myself here, but I was told 5.1 was going to be enough.
I know. And now here we go.
Here we go.
Well, Dolby did the Atmos thing in the beginning with 2012, right? With Pixar's Brave, the movie. And they had all those speakers in the cinema. Mm-hmm. And Dolby continued to try to make that accessible to us commoners to be able to hear, or to what they call immerse yourself in the experience. Yeah. So here we are now. Fast forward, Dolby was putting this into now music applications and music products like the Symphony and our product, the Immersive Bundle.
Cool. In the early days of Atmos, I mean, there was some, I'll say, problems with the way that format was being mixed, because I don't think the rooms that it was being mixed in were properly set up for it. Specifically, early Atmos mixes, I think the height layer was distracting. Sure. Because there was, and I would go through the process of using more diffusion on the ceiling so that there was, this for the end user, for example, like in a home theater, so that there'd be a little bit more of a blend between the LCR and the heights, because everything in those first couple mixes was like, it's meant to be atmospheric up there, but it was directional and sort of distracting.
Sure.
So I was using acoustics as a sort of a buffer to make it less so. But as more mix engineers become familiar with the format, as more rooms become treated properly for the format, it's really, I mean, when it's atmospheric, it's just incredible. But then that bird flies over, right? And everyone's looking around like, what the heck just happened over my head? So no, 5.1 absolutely was not enough. So here we are.
And when it's great, it's amazing.
Yeah.
When it's not, you're like, what just happened?
Distracting.
Yeah, it's a bit much. So I think you hit it on the head. I think companies like Apogee and Dolby themselves, figuring out how to make the technology work in a smaller setting has been the most important thing.
For sure.
And you can put it in a room like this and be able to actually hear everything properly in its spatial space without that distraction. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. And that's what we're doing with Apogee with this bundle.
For sure. The end user market, there's a lot of fear of having an overly dead room. And I always tell them, I'm like, man, you got 9 speakers in there to create a sense of space. You don't need the room putting its fingerprint on that sense of space. Let those speakers do what the speakers are supposed to do.
For sure.
We can't ignore the plugins that you guys have for recording applications, the mastering EQ, the mastering bundles, and man, they're affordable.
There's a lot of goodies. We've been doing it a long time.
Yeah. Who's the mastering engineer that's endorsing the mastering?
Larson is the latest, but Larson's been around with us for a long time. His name is Gavin Larson, excuse me. Yeah. And that particular product we did with him many years ago was the original Larson mastering EQ. Mm-hmm. And we just re-released that product with a newer EQ, a newer set to our T-Rack 6 platform, so it really integrates really well, and it sounds amazing. So it's updated to his system for sure. It's
incredible what the plug-in market has done for the recording industry. I mean, people used to have to mortgage their home to get something that can achieve a professional result, and it's just wonderful. I think that companies like yours are doing things that are making really professional grade tools accessible and there for everyone to use.
I mean, we've been innovators of recording, instrument, guitar, anything that helps you make sound. We try to help you make that sound better.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just been able to create multiple different devices, hardware, software, you name it. We've done it. And I've been with the company 25 years and I've seen us do it all. So you started off, actually our first product was a product called Groove Maker. Okay. Which is a DJ product. You're going to probably go Google this and figure it out, but that was our very first product. Okay. And then you move forward into T-Rax, and here we are 25 years later with T-Rax 6 and Amplitude and Tonex, and of course our incredible Tonex hardware product, and now the iLoud MTM immersive bundle.
How does a company like this decide to make that leap, to go from something that's so software driven to like, hey, we're gonna build speakers now?
Good question. I think our CEO has got a great innovative mind. He's always staying creative. He's always looking for a new way to create sound and make something great for the people that are making music. And he's a musician himself. So I think sometimes you get to the point where you're doing something because you need it. Yeah. You know, you're creating something because you wish you had it. Sure. But he's always been enormously creative. He really is the brainchild behind a lot of the things.
Wonderful. So he just saw an opportunity, right, to deliver a very compact footprint speaker that
it wasn't done at the time.
Sure.
I mean, you know, there's so many monitor companies out there, and they're all great, and they all do what they do. Everybody has their place. Sure. But I think we've carved a space with the MTM. It's light. Mm-hmm. It is portable to a point. You can put it on a reference space. You can put it on a desk. You can put it in a house of worship setting where you've got it in front of house. Mm. And of course, like we said, mounted on stands. We've given you so many options to be able to use the monitor, and then with the actual phase response and you know the low bass frequency, what you get out of these, you've heard it.
It rattled doors.
and that mid-range tweeter, mid-range configuration allows you to point it in whatever direction it needs to be to get you the right point sound. So it does change how you listen for sure.
Certainly.
Yeah. We were talking about Atmos, and I think IK Multimedia's direction is to try to make sure, just as Apogee's doing, make Atmos affordable. People think the word Atmos now, and they think, okay, thousands of dollars, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for an Atmos system. It's just not so anymore. Sure. IK Multimedia's teamed up with Apogee to create an offering that says, hey, I can get this bundle for under $7,000 in my own house. Sure. I mean, that's pretty substantial to say I can take what was $30,000 a few years ago, make that compact and put it into a smaller space. And just like technology, everything changes quickly. I think I could at the forefront with Apogee to give that offering to customers so that they can see that's available.
And that's a pretty symbiotic relationship, right, between Apogee and I
mean, you got one of the best converters in the business. They have great products. They're always known for great analog conversion and so forth. They have the great name. You see at Apogee interface, you know it's going to be awesome. Yep. And IK Multimedia is coming along with great technology that's always going to be precise. It's going to sound good. It's going to be inexpensive. So get the job done for you, be portable. Mm-hmm. We're known for all those things. So I think that combination of the two of us just sets us up right up front for success.
Do you have any musical inclinations? Yeah. Do you play yourself? Or
I do. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer guy, but I haven't done it in a long time.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Because I switched to video. Now I'm a YouTuber, and, and
so I mean, we
can
talk about that, right? I mean, because you did send me a copy of your own podcast. Tell us a bit about what you're doing out there, because I enjoyed that podcast a lot. It was really great.
Well, I have a podcast called the Beautiful Now Project, and part of my give back to the planet, I guess, is to say, hey, let's put something out there positive. Let's make your now beautiful, because you only got one moment. That's kind of how I think about it. So I try to put something about positive, and I've seen so many other negative things on YouTube. So I said, let me put something out in a smaller setting, in small bite-sized chunks. So you can go to my YouTube channel and get what I call life hacks, hacking the code to a beautiful life, one video at a time. And you get a little 3-minute something to encourage you.
I mean, I was ready to see if you charge by the hour when I was done watching that video, because I mean, you really do have a great way of presenting things and like putting a spin on positivity that feels genuine and not canned, which is rare.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a great thing to do, and I've met a lot of people along the way in my journey with IK Multimedia. I've interviewed quite a few people in a segment that I call Chasing the Impossible. So that is the segment where I interview people that have done something maybe it seemed impossible to you, that just shows you nothing's really impossible. If you give it all you've got, you can get there and make that impossible happen. So these people have accomplished everything, like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, or Sinbad, or Or, I mean, I've interviewed some incredible people along the way. Brian Culverson, gosh, there's so many people that have been in that space. And they've all had a story. And you look at those successful people and you go, how'd they get there? They're just, and they'll tell you, no, I'm just like you and me. I just stuck with what it was and made that happen. And that's what Chasing the Impossible is about as well.
So speaking of starts, I mean, how did you start with IK Multimedia? What was that trajectory like?
Oh, wow. I was working for another company at the time, and they saw me actually working with one of their products. I was working with a product called Sample Tank, which is one of our original flagship workstation products. And they had actually saw me working with it and thought that I did a great job demonstrating it, showing it off, and actually said, hey, we'd love to have you come demonstrate for us. Okay. And it kind of segued itself from there.
So you were out there doing like trade shows and like just showing people how stuff works with the headset on and like.
I was that guy. Yeah. Hello, everyone. We're here at the NAMM Show 2025. Yeah, I'm that guy. I know. Terrible.
You still go to NAMM every year?
Every year.
Do you enjoy it?
a little less every year.
It gets a little weird, doesn't it, over the years?
It's changed, but well, now it's a big network fest, right? All your buddies are there. You see everybody from all the companies. You hang out. It's a good time. So speaking of our speakers, obviously, you know, the calibration system makes a big difference, and it does help really make the sound better in your room. But as a professional, don't you think we probably need to add some root treatment too to make it even more efficient?
Of course. You know, there's always going to be a liveliness factor at a bare minimum, you know, and with an immersive situation in the room, like you don't necessarily want to hear the room. You want to hear the speakers, right? And the calibration and all that is going to go a long way and do a lot of positive things for that speaker's response. But we do, of course, need to make sure that bass resonances are in check. We need to make sure that the frequency responses is even as we can get it before that calibration starts, because now that DSP doesn't have to work quite as hard as it would if you were going to put these speakers up in a naked room, right? Sure. It can really focus on the remaining problems, which get smaller and smaller as that acoustic environment is made more and more pure.
I think what we try to do is help with the software applications. If you use our calibration, you have another product in the box called X Monitor that actually allows you to see the waveform or see the actual calibration that's been done, and you can change that, manipulate that to fit the room. So you can actually be able to make it exactly what you need, pull those frequencies in and out if you need to, and take a snapshot. Once that snapshot's there, you can save that snapshot, and it's there forever. Yeah. And that's when I said you can reference other monitors. There will be presets of other monitors that you can actually load into that application and say, I want it to sound like, once you make these flat in your room, the application will say, well, what if I want them to sound like this type of monitor? Mm-hmm. And you can pull that up in the preset, and boom, now you've got the style or the reference of that monitor.
More modeling.
Yeah,
you know, so
modeling.
You guys already know how to model.
So you get that part right. So it's like when you get these monitors, you get multiple monitors. They're the ultimate reference pair.
Cool.
They're never just the one.
You know, one thing that I always tell my clients when they are using something like a DSP EQ or a room correction device is that it's pretty important to try to keep that to be subtractive edits to the frequency response as opposed to additive edits to the frequency response, because you know you start telling this speaker to output an extra 12 dB at 100 hertz, the amp doesn't know that it's not flat, and it's, you know, your headroom is going to shrink quite a bit because of all that extra energy that's put into a very narrow band of frequency width. So for all you guys at home using EQs and all that, try to make any of your correction be subtractive rather than additive. That's just a little hint.
A little bonus. Little
bonus hint.
And you mentioned amps and our amp technology. I don't know if you remember, we have created a physical hardware pedal now called Tonex, which has been a game changer in the modeling world. Cool. Using AI machine technology, we're able to actually capture any amplifier on the planet, and basically, to make it super simple, save that particular product into the pedal. So what if you want that Fender Twin or whatever your favorite amplifier is? Our technology will help you capture that device, save it into the application, and then into the device as far as a hardware piece, so you can take it wherever you go.
That's wild.
I mean, when we talked about Amplitude in the beginning, we say it's great for the software plugin, but now we've taken that incredible power and said we can give you that in a physical box. Imagine how many people hate lugging those amplifiers now. Now you've got a physical pedal that can get it done amps, cabinets, pedals, all can be saved inside that box.
Wow.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, rock and roll looks a lot different than it used to, doesn't it?
Well, think of your pedal board. Used to have like 10 pedals.
Right.
Now you can have like 3 and have everything you need on there.
Yeah.
2
Set
tone
scenes and have it all be smart. Yeah, that's wild.
You can do a lot with a Tone X pedal.
Yeah, that's cool.
For sure.
That's really cool. So, Derrick, where do you see IK Multimedia going in the future? What's next on the horizon? What are you guys going to conquer next? Or
Well, I think we've dipped our toe into multiple categories, like the speakers, like the Tone X pedal, like our keyboards, our microphones, you name it, we've done it. I think we're just going to try to get better at what we've done. Tone X pedal has been a game changer, so we're going to create some more products in that line. Our speakers, the iLoud series, has been incredible, so of course we're going to create more there. I think we want to listen to our customers a bit more too and figure out what's missing in those categories. Smart. And drop that in, because that's what we're good at.
Well, Derrick, hey man, it's been great meeting you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for coming over, and maybe let's do this again sometime.
We got to. Hey, why don't you come on my podcast next time?
Yeah.
Great. Let's do
Open my mind up and let's see what's in there. See if you can fix a few things. My wife would love it if you fixed a few things.
Let's do it, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks for coming on.
Take care, man.